Hey there YouTubers, Firemindsforesight here with you guys again. Gonna do another deck tech. This is a fun deck. This is not meant to be a tournament winning, all heads will bow to you kind of deck here. This is a, you know, play with your friends, kitchen table magic kind of deal. It is a mono red goblin deck. It is standard. I like to build all of my decks in standard, so you'll notice throughout my videos that everything I build is in standard. So we'll go ahead and start with the land here. It is 100% red, so 20 mountains, and I'll just count them off in fives for you guys. So we have 5, 10, 15, and 20 basic mountains. Very simple. And this deck will run on for 4 mana, so the minute you get 4 lands out, you can cast anything in the deck with the exception of 1 card. And we'll get to that when we get into instants and sorceries. So, moving into creatures. First up is Goblin Arsonist. He's an awesome card. He's a 1-drop for a 1/1, 1 red, and when he dies, you may have it deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So what you'll find a lot is that people will let him swing in unanswered, just because even if they do block and kill it, they can still take 1 damage, or you can still destroy a creature that they have on their side of the field that has 1 toughness. Or say a 2/2 blocks it, you can redirect that other 1 damage he deals to the 2/2 and destroy that creature. So we do run a 4 of Goblin Arsonist. The next card we're going to look at here is from Dragon's Maze, a new goblin. His name is Riot Piker, and he is a 2-drop for a 2/1, 1 red and 1 colorless, and he does have first strike. And Riot Piker attacks each turn if able. And this is an aggro deck, so you're going to want to be attacking, so the fact that he has to attack every turn isn't that big of a deal, especially considering that he does have first strike, and he has a second turn play, so most of the time you're not going to see your bigger creatures till probably around turn 4 is when you'll start seeing big stuff hit the field. So he's pretty effective early game. So we are running a 4 of Riot Piker. The next guy we're going to look at is Skinbrand Goblin, and he is a 2-drop for a 2/1 also, 1 red and 1 colorless, but the difference here is this one has Blood Rush. And you can tap 1 red and discard Skinbrand Goblin, and target attacking creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. So you can either have a 2/1 on the field second turn if you don't have a Riot Piker, or if you do have a Riot Piker on the field, you can Blood Rush with Skinbrand Goblin and make him a 4/2 as opposed to being a 2/1. So we are running a 4 of Skinbrand Goblin as well. Another cool card that came from Dragon's Maze as far as goblins go is Pyrewild Shaman. I haven't heard much hype about him yet, but then again there aren't many goblin decks playing in standard that are competitive, so he is a 3-drop for a 3/1, 1 red and 2 colorless, and he does have a Blood Rush for 1 colorless and a red, and you discard him, and target attacking creature will get +3/+1 until end of turn. Also it says, whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, if Pyrewild Shaman is in your graveyard, you may pay 3 colorless, and if you do, you can return him to your hand. So you can Blood Rush with him over and over and over, because you're going to be attacking with this deck and you're going to be dealing damage. 3 of Pyrewild Shaman. Next thing we're looking at is Arms Dealer. I haven't really found anything else to take the place of him. He's not a bad card, but he's a little expensive for his ability. He's a 3-drop 1/1, 1 red and 2 colorless, and you can tap a colorless and a red and sacrifice a goblin, and Arms Dealer deals 4 damage to target creature. So this deck produces a lot of tokens, goblin creature tokens, so that is one thing that you can sacrifice for his ability. But to be honest with you, if I had another Pyrewild Shaman, I would take him out for that card. So yeah, he's pretty much a placeholder, but he can be effective. And our big win condition for this deck is Krenko Mob Boss. He's a 4-drop for a 3/3, 2 red, 2 colorless, and you can tap him and you put X 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the number of goblins you control. So he basically doubles your goblins every turn, which is really cool when you get into some of the instants and sorceries that we have, because they help you pump out goblin tokens. And every card, or every creature card in the deck is a goblin, so he doubles everything. So he is a 4 of. Because when he comes out, people are going to destroy him. They know what he does. They don't like him. They want him gone. They don't want you doubling your creatures every turn. So that's why we're running a 4 of him. So Krenko Mob Boss. And that is our last creature for the deck. Moving into instants and sorceries. The first card is Dynacharge. And it is a 1-drop instant speed for 1 red. And a target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And it also has an overload for 3, with giving each of your creatures +2/+0 until end of turn. Now, I was using Trumpet Blast, and I was using Kindled Fury, and they both do the same thing, but they're 2 separate cards, and this card is both of them put together. So that's kind of why I changed over to Dynacharge. It has cooler artwork, it's more effective, and it frees up some space for some more spells in the deck. So I'm running a 2 of Dynacharge. Next thing is Krenko's Command, and it is a 2-drop sorcery for 1 red and 1 colorless, and it lets you put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. The sooner you cast this, the better. It's 2 creatures for 2 mana, which is really good. So there is a 4 of Krenko's Command in the deck. Next for some burn is Searing Spear, which you'll find in a lot of my decks that run red. I do run Searing Spear over Pillar of Flame. Just because it's 1 more mana for 1 more damage, I think it's worth paying the extra mana for the extra rare damage. It gets rid of more creatures than Pillar of Flame will, and you don't have to do things like Snapcaster Mage and flashback a Pillar of Flame when you could flashback a Searing Spear. So it's a 2-drop instant, if I didn't already say, 1 red, 1 colorless, and it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So 4 of Searing Spear. Next, to help us draw into the stuff that we need, is Wild Guess, and it's a 2-drop sorcery for 2 red. As an additional cost to cast Wild Guess, you have to discard a card, but it lets you draw 2 cards. No guts, no glory, right? This is where you would get rid of an extra land you're holding onto that you're not going to use. You would discard that for this and then draw into 2 cards, hopefully getting into Krenko's Command or some burn spell, or maybe Krenko Mob Boss if you don't have one out on the field already. So a 3 of Wild Guess. Next is Massive Raid, and it's a 3-drop instant for 2 red and a colorless, and it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of creatures you control. So the cool thing about this in this build is you're going to have a crap load of creatures on the field. So the more creatures you have on the field, the more damage this card's going to do. So if for some reason, unbeknownst to me, you're unable to attack effectively, you do have this as a backup plan, which will let you deal damage to a player if need be, also to a creature. So we do run a 2 of Massive Raid. I'm running 1 copy of Fervor, which is a 3-drop enchantment for 1 red and 2 colorless, and it gives creatures you control haste, which is really nice, especially if you can get this out onto the field before you summon Krenko, because it'll let him tap the turn he comes out instead of having to wait a whole round for Summoning Sickness. So 1 copy of Fervor. The most expensive card in the deck to cast is Goblin Rally. I play tested this for a long time before I finally decided to keep it in here. It is very effective. It's a 5-drop sorcery for 2 red and 3 colorless, and it gives you 4 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield, which is very, very helpful. So 2 of Goblin Rally. And the last card in the deck, just for some more burn, is Volcanic Geyser. You're probably going to have a lot of extra mana, and if you're not discarding it for Wild Guesses, then you're obviously playing it down onto the field, so this is where it'll come in handy. It's a 2 red and X for instant speed, and it deals X damage to target creature or player. So 2 red, and then however many land you decide to tap to destroy a creature or to deal damage to your opponent's face. So that's the deck, 60 cards. I do believe it is 20, 20, and 20, which doesn't happen for me very often. 20 lands, 20 creatures, 20 spells. Like I said, it's a fun deck. It's not meant to be tournament-winning competitive style. This is more just playing with your friends, trying to have some fun. I use this deck a lot at work to play my buddies on lunch, because none of them like to play against the Control deck or the Simic deck. So, again, there's no sideboard for the deck either, so... if any of you guys out there have any suggestions on stuff I can use that keeps it in standard, that I might have overlooked or didn't think of, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about the deck, any criticisms. Again, leave me a comment. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and there will be more Magic the Gathering videos and deck techs coming soon. Thank you guys for watching.